think this video is probably going to end up being 10 minutes, which is not something I usually recommend when teaching. I try to keep my videos to 5 minutes or under. However, I don't think that multiple videos is going to be as useful here, so I'm going to try and keep it brief. This course that I've shared with you is computer-aided drafting. Computer-aided drafting was originally developed during Pluto to be a blended course. And when we pivoted this spring to being online, I was able to easily pivot it to being online, easier than I thought. There were certainly things in every course that I always want to make better and better and better. And there are things that, looking at my own work, even for this video, make me want to cringe. You have to let those things go and just know that every time you make the course, you just get to make it a little bit better. So I'm going to quick show you the first half of the semester students took hand drafting before computer-aided drafting. This course was a face-to-face course, and I'm going to show this to you for contrast because I'm going to show you things that won't work as well in a blended or online course. So first, you've got the week here, and I don't sprinkle class dates throughout the course, because if you do that, then later when you're trying to reuse the same content, you will miss a date, and then students will be like, it says October 22nd here. It's like, well, obviously it's the spring semester. So try to keep your dates in very specific places. So I always keep my dates at the top here. I do this because students get lost in what week it is, and sometimes I do too. So there's that. I have on a face-to-face course, you know, much like most professors, I have homework due on each day of class, so Tuesday and Thursday. So this shows what they're supposed to do. There's a video that they're supposed to watch, and then this gives them an image of the project that they're going to be working on. An example. I showed this page specifically because sometimes you're just scribbling crap on the board, and this is an awful drawing. Very awful. But it illustrated something simple, and I took a snapshot of it and I just uploaded it. And then I ended up staying in the course because I had other fish to fry. And at some point I'll make it better, but you know, that's fine. Just take a snapshot of something you already have, upload it, call it a day. Then I have the assignment. Within the assignment has very detailed directions. And then I try to give as many examples as possible, so examples that students have done in the past. I love these homework checklists. They're interactive, so you can click on it, and then the next time you navigate back to this page, it's already clicked. So like, do that all the time. It's fantastic. So then I have what's due on Thursday, and then in-class information, right? So things that happened in class to recap or will happen in class. And then I have curiosity resources at the bottom, because I like to give students who are self-motivated the opportunity to go a little deeper into the information if they want to. Often they're too busy, and that's okay. But at least that information was available to them. You don't have to go too crazy with the cheese whiz here. A few links is more than enough if you even have time to give them that. Obviously, if you're planning to pivot a course, maybe not having in-class information is not something that's going to be useful to you. So I'm going to go to computer-aided drafting, and I'm going to scroll here to week 5. So the problem with, so these have unit overviews, because in the computer-aided drafting course, they were working independently for a full week. In the blended format, we would have met about once a week, if not every 3 days or so. So therefore, when you're working in an asynchronous environment, you don't want homework to be due on Tuesday and Thursday. First of all, that's extra grading if you're attaching points to that grading. Second of all, it doesn't give the students enough flexibility who have different jobs, different responsibilities, various things. So if you give them a full week, yeah, a lot of them are going to do it the day before. That's just the nature of it. And they have their own reasons for that. But many of them don't. They do it well ahead of time. So, yeah. So in this course, there were units with various things that they would be doing for a specific project. So, for instance, for this orthographic layout project, there's a cover page for Unit 4 and then various sub-pages. you really do have to hammer home with the students that they need to double click on that unit overview, because if they miss that unit overview, they miss a lot of really crucial information. So I always try and show an image of what we're working on. I always put a warning on there. This unit is very time consuming. Try to do a little every day rather than waiting until the last second as much as you can. I also introduced a apply this concept box here. These boxes, being able to do this, are great. It's really easy. You just go into here, change the color. You do need various horizontal page, I can't remember the word. You'll figure it out. But I love that there are boxes and colors. This is telling them that there's an apply this concept box that they're going to be seeing as they work on the project. This helps them have anchors of what is due as they work through the different sub-pages. And I also started using this big reminder. I had students all sort of making the same mistake. I was great to be able to, as the students who were working ahead hit some mistakes, I was able to throw in reminders for the people behind. It's okay to treat this as a living document as long as you're not changing what is due or what they're supposed to do. I also usually like to include some funny videos so that if they get frustrated, there's something that they can like still stay on the content page but watch. It also creates some funny inside jokes in class. So as they move through the content, you know, here we have 4.1. I try to give a runtime of how long the videos are. Now, I warn them heavily that the actual completion time will be much longer because they're working alongside my instruction, and that means that they're going to need time to do the things, not just watch the things. I was driving in this point because I wanted to make sure the students had seen it. I try and give on each video what the runtime for that video is. Yes, you can see that once you start it. However, sometimes it's great to have that information explicitly labeled. So here's this, apply this concept 1, make overview of your objects. And this has instructions of what this first, you know, what they're supposed to do for this. And this is a 10-point item. So all of this is going to continue. I do have a little side quest because there's issues between the differences of PCs and Macs. Then there's this apply this concept 2, so on and so forth. Moving on down the page, there's a third one, there's a fourth one. Then when we get to the bottom, I love these checkboxes, these homework checkboxes. So here's all the different apply this concepts that they were supposed to have already done. They can click this and it stays clicked. I already showed this to you. I'm going to jump to the last assignment in this unit. So in this last assignment, this last subpage of this unit, there are some of the same things we've seen before. Here's apply this concept 8. Then I do at the turn-in assignment portion, I do a series of checkboxes of everything that they have had to do. Now, it doesn't have all the information. They need to go back to where it was actually assigned. But they love checkboxes. It really helps them stay focused on what they need to be turning in. Then there are, you know, sharing your drawing. So this is one of the ways that I find that even on a face-to-face or blended course, it's really useful. I have them share information with each other using forums. So if I click on this, I'm going to go to forums. I'm going to see some of my students sharing their information with each other. I'm going to actually go to the overview of the forums page. So I have a troubleshooting forum where they can just ask questions. Honestly, this wasn't as useful this go around because we had the Google Hangouts chat going, and that was way more useful for immediate attention if the student ran into a problem during the day. Then I have the Unit 1 forum, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. So basically this helps contain all the different conversations that they're having into the unit. And so if we look at this here, I also asked for some, you know, constructive criticism if they were willing to give it. I had other ways of getting anonymous information on how the course was going and whatnot, but this was a fun little experiment I did. But sharing this information with each other, like what they had accomplished, was really fun for them. And there was a lot of great conversation about, oh, I saw you did this. That really helps me figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. Or, you know, I saw you did this. Is that right? You know, that kind of conversation. They also were able to share research with each other that they were doing, and other things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to 4.4. So I always included that when they were turning things in. Well, not always, but where I got to with it was great. And then a final checklist. Okay, so you should have done forum 4.2, forum 4.4. I hate it. 5 ed puzzle videos, and turning in your orthographic project with the 8 concepts. So that's something. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you are using a blended class or planning for a blended class, make sure things are due once a week. Make sure that you're at least once a week creating ways for them to interact with each other. And that could be in video, optional video chats, or using forums is pretty great. I did notice that some students were less likely to use them even though there were points attached, and I'm not 100% sure if that was just because they were looking to pass fail, and that was one of the places where they were like, I don't need to put in that much effort in order to get my C, or if there was something else going on in there. But the students who were engaged were really engaged with that. Okay, I also want to say that all this stuff was available within Gradebook. I would take you there, but there's currently student grades in it, and I don't have the copy that Dana made that doesn't have grades in it. And I think that's all I have to say.